Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Computer science, the structure and organization of a computer's hardware or system software. The architecture of a computer system software. An architectural product or work. The discipline dealing with the principles of design and construction and ornamentation of fine buildings. Architecture and eloquence are mixed arts whose end is sometimes beauty and sometimes use. The profession of designing buildings and environments with consideration for their aesthetic effect. Computer science, the structure and organization of a computer's hardware or system software. The art of assembling logical elements into a computing device. The specification of the relation between parts of a computer system. The people in a society considered as a system organized by a characteristic pattern of relationships. Sociologists have studied the changing structure of the family. A particular complex anatomical part of a living thing and its construction and arrangement. He has good bone structure. A thing constructed, a complex entity constructed of many parts. The structure consisted of a series of arches. Give a structure to. I need to structure my days. The complex composition of knowledge as elements and their combinations. His lectures have no structure. The manner of construction of something and the arrangement of its parts. Artists must study the structure of the human body. The commercial activity involved in repairing old structures or constructing new ones. Workers in the building trades. The act of constructing something. His hobby was the building of boats. A structure that has a roof and walls and stands more or less permanently in one place. There was a 3-story building on the corner. The occupants of a building. The entire building complained about the noise. A structure that has a roof and walls and stands more or less permanently in one place. It was an imposing edifice. A branch of knowledge. A particular kind of commercial enterprise. They are outstanding in their field. The area that is visible, as through an optical instrument. A particular environment or walk of life. The space around a radiating body within which its electromagnetic oscillations can exert force on another similar body not in contact with it. A piece of land prepared for playing a game. The home crowd cheered when Princeton took the field. A place where planes take off and land. Extensive tract of level open land. He longed for the fields of his youth. A region where a battle is being, or has been, fought. They made a tour of Civil War battlefields. A region in which active military operations are in progress. The army was in the field awaiting action. A geographic region, land or sea, under which something valuable is found. The diamond fields of South Africa. All of the horses in a particular horse race. All the competitors in a particular contest or sporting event. Answer adequately or successfully. The lawyer fielded all questions from the press. A piece of land cleared of trees and usually enclosed. He planted a field of wheat. Catch or pick up balls in baseball or cricket. Computer science, a set of one or more adjacent characters comprising a unit of information. Mathematics, a set of elements such that addition and multiplication are commutative and associative and multiplication is distributive over addition and there are two elements 0 and 1. The set of all rational numbers is a field. Play as a fielder. Select a team or individual player for a game. The Buckeyes fielded a young new quarterback for the Rose Bowl. Somewhere, away from a studio or office or library or laboratory, where practical work is done or data is collected. Anthropologists do much of their work in the field. A branch of knowledge. The study and creation of visual works of art. A branch of knowledge. In what discipline is his doctorate? Develop a child's or animal's behavior by instruction and practice, especially to teach self-control. Parents must discipline their children. The act of disciplining. The offenders deserved the harsh discipline they received. Punish in order to gain control or enforce obedience. The teacher disciplined the pupils rather frequently. A system of rules of conduct or method of practice. He quickly learned the discipline of prison routine. The trait of being well behaved. He insisted on discipline among the troops. Training to improve strength or self-control. The study and creation of visual works of art. A branch of knowledge. The area over which a bailiff has jurisdiction. A branch of knowledge. Anthropology is the study of human beings. Give careful consideration to. Applying the mind to learning and understanding a subject, especially by reading. No schools offer graduate study in interior design. Attentive consideration and meditation. Preliminary drawing for later elaboration. Think intently and at length, as for spiritual purposes. He is meditating in his study. Learn by reading books. He is studying geology in his room. A detailed critical inspection. A written document describing the findings of some individual or group. This accords with the recent study by Hill and Dale. Be a student of a certain subject. Consider in detail and subject to an analysis in order to discover essential features or meaning. A composition intended to develop one aspect of the performer's technique. A study in spiccato bowing. A room used for reading and writing and studying. He knocked lightly on the closed door of the study. A state of deep mental absorption. She is in a deep study. Be a student. Follow a course of study. Be enrolled at an institute of learning. Someone who memorizes quickly and easily, as the lines for a part in a play. He is a quick study. A branch of knowledge. Teachers should be well trained in their subject. Possibly accepting or permitting. The time is fixed by the director and players and therefore subject to much variation. A person who owes allegiance to that nation. A monarch has a duty to his subjects. Being under the power or sovereignty of another or others. Subject peoples. Make subservient. Forced to submit or subdue. The subject matter of a conversation or discussion. He didn't want to discuss that subject. Something, a person or object or scene, selected by an artist or photographer for graphic representation. A moving picture of a train is more dramatic than a still picture of the same subject. A person who is subjected to experimental or other observational procedures. Someone who is an object of investigation. The subjects for this investigation were selected randomly. Some situation or event that is thought about. He had been thinking about the subject for several years. Cause to experience or suffer or make liable or vulnerable to. He subjected me to his awful poetry. Grammar. One of the two main constituents of a sentence. The grammatical constituent about which something is predicated. Likely to be affected by something. The bond is subject to taxation. Logic. The first term of a proposition. Make accountable for. He did not want to subject himself to the judgments of his superiors. A branch of knowledge. A branch of knowledge. An open avowal, true or false, of some belief or opinion. A profession of disagreement. Affirmation of acceptance of some religion or faith. A profession of Christianity. An occupation requiring special education, especially in the liberal arts or sciences. The body of people in a learned occupation. The news spread rapidly through the medical profession. Computer science. A kind of computer architecture that has a relatively small set of computer instructions that it can perform. Computer science. A kind of computer architecture that has a relatively small set of computer instructions that it can perform. Computer science. A kind of computer architecture that has a relatively small set of computer instructions that it can perform. Computer science. A kind of computer architecture that has a large number of instructions hard-coded into the CPU chip. An agency of the Canadian government that unifies the intelligence units of Canadian law enforcement agencies. Computer science. A kind of computer architecture that has a large number of instructions hard-coded into the CPU chip. Computer science. A kind of computer architecture that has a large number of instructions hard-coded into the CPU chip. Determining and drawing up plans for the future physical arrangement and condition of a community. The branch of architecture dealing with the design and organization of urban space and activities. The science of architecture. The branch of geology studying the folding and faulting of the Earth's crust. The science of architecture. The branch of engineering science that studies, with the aid of computers, computable processes and structures. The procedure of calculating, determining something by mathematical or logical methods. The branch of engineering science that studies, with the aid of computers, computable processes and structures. Architecture. A step on the top of a gable wall. Architecture. A gable having corbie-steps or corbel steps. Architecture. A step on the top of a gable wall. An interior angle formed by two meeting walls. A piano was in one corner of the room. A small concavity. A predicament from which a skillful or graceful escape is impossible. His lying got him into a tight corner. The intersection of two streets. Standing on the corner watching all the girls go by. Force a person or an animal into a position from which he cannot escape. Architecture. Solid exterior angle of a building, especially one formed by a cornerstone. A place off to the side of an area. He tripled to the right field corner. A projecting part where two sides or edges meet. He knocked off the corners. A remote area. In many corners of the world they still practice slavery. A temporary monopoly on a kind of commercial trade. A corner on the silver market. Gain control over. Corner the gold market. The point where three areas or surfaces meet or intersect. The corners of a cube. The point where two lines meet or intersect. The corners of a rectangle. Turn a corner. The car corners.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.